Hello and welcome to the ArchieLuxury Luxury program. Today we're continuing with the series What Does Your Watch Say About Yourself? And today I want to review two fantastic Rolexes, the Rolex Explorer 1 and the Rolex Explorer 2. And to be completely frank and honest with all my viewers here, I would have to say that the only two Rolexes I presently can wear at the moment would be a Rolex Explorer 1 or a Rolex Explorer 2. And the reason I say that is everything else is just so fucking passé. It's just so cliche. Now, Rolex Explorer 1, what does it say? Well, look, the Rolex Explorer 1 is firstly, I would have to say, one of the greatest choices you can make in the Rolex range. It's discreet. It's got so much stuff going for it. The Rolex Explorer 1 basically invented the sports watch genre. And you've got to realize that the Rolex Explorer 1, when it was fitted with a rotating bezel, became the Submariner. And the Rolex Explorer 1's got a lot of great attributes to it. It doesn't have the crown guards. It's really where most of the Rolex sports watches owe their beginning to. So always remember that. Rolex Explorer 1, classic, discreet. Who wore a Rolex Explorer 1? I'll tell you who fucking wore a Rolex Explorer 1. If you read the James Bond novels, he wore a Rolex Explorer 1. Ian Fleming himself had a 1016 Rolex Explorer 1. That's how fucking fantastic the brand is. And I can remember one friend of mine, when I bought my Rolex Explorer 1, laughed at me and said, "Oh, you couldn't afford one with a date." Well, look, you stupid fuck. Who's laughing now? The Rolex Explorer 1's one of the greatest sports watches, and the date is just so passé. So there you have it. That's my opinion there. I think Explorer 1's with the 369 dial is just classic. And the thing about them is that some people think they're a little bit small by modern standards, but fuck, I think the classic 36mm Explorer 1 is a great size. I'm still a bit undecided about the bigger size one. I mean, everything seems to be going bigger, and in some ways that's okay, but I don't like watches over 40 mils. I think that's getting into dangerous territory. So, you know, that's just my opinion there. But the Explorer 1 itself is just classic beauty, classic design excellence, and it's somebody who wants to wear a great watch, but they don't want something loud, showy, and obnoxious. And it's probably one of the most understated Rolexes in the range, and I think it's probably one of the best Rolexes in the range. And I'm particularly, I must say, I'm particularly a big fan of the Explorer 1. Rolex Explorer 2, well, I think if you're going to get the Explorer 2, get that beautiful white dial. I think that's the best dial combination to get. And I'm a huge fan of the Rolex Explorer 2 white dial, and I find the two time zone system really good. I think it's a great feature, a great complication to have on a watch. The beautiful thing about an Explorer 2 is it's a beautiful classic sports watch, but it's not in your face like a Submariner. So it's only known to the watch collecting fraternity. It's not known to every asshole that's out there. And that's one of the things I love about the Explorer 2. It's a discreet Rolex, if there's such a thing. And it's just so iconic and so well done that I think, you know, you've got to really appreciate what the Explorer 2 is. And it's a watch, you could just have an Explorer 2 and it would fit most applications. It's a watch you could, with the white dial, you could wear it with a suit. Although I don't advocate wearing sports watches with suits, you could still get away with it. It's a great casual business watch. It's a great sports watch as well. It's waterproof. You can do a lot of things with it, and it's just a fantastic watch. You can put it on a strap. You can dress it up. You know, you can play with it. So it's a great watch. I think myself, and I've said it before, the Rolex Explorer 1 and Explorer 2 are the only two watches in the entire current range that I'd actually wear. And I'd also have to say that I prefer the traditional 40mm sapphire version instead of the newer 42mm case that's just come out. I prefer the traditional, and they're great buying, bang per buck on the second-hand market. And that's one of the things about Rolex, is that I don't think I could buy any new current Rolex. The Day Date 2, the Datejust 2, the new Explorer 2, the ceramic GMT, the ceramic sub, it's all fucking atrocious. I cannot wear a modern Rolex, and the only one in the range that I could wear in modern times is a sapphire 10 to 15 year old Explorer 2, and my preference would be with case with holes and the older oyster bracelet. That would be my first preference there. Explorer 2, great watch. Who wears this watch here? Well, someone who's not a fucking dickhead. Someone who's not fucking wants to show off and be obnoxious and obscene. They just want a good watch. They want something that's quality and beauty without being obscene. And that's the type of person, a reserved person, conservative person, somebody with taste and style. They don't need to have Rolex flashed at everyone. It doesn't need to be they don't need a Submariner on their wrist. They're quite happy to have the Explorer 2 and just content knowing that they've got a beautiful Rolex. And I've got to say this, it's the whole watch collecting world's gone mad, and I really find it hard to wear any of the current Rolexes because they're so passé and just so fucking... They've really fucked the whole range up, in my opinion. And the Explorer 2 from the 90s and the Sapphire Explorer 1, they're fantastic buying secondhand. They're good buys, and they're a watch that you can wear for a lifetime and pass on to your children. They're a great piece, and I love both of them. So the Rolex, what does the watch Rolex Explorer 2 or Rolex Explorer 1 say about their owner? It says they're sophisticated. It says they've got good taste. It says that they don't need every arsehole to know what they've got on their wrist. That's what it says. It says that they have some constraint and some decorum. That's what it says. It's everything that I'm against in Tag Heuer. All the pretend, the pretense, the fakeness. Explorer 2 is the complete opposite of a Tag Heuer. And that's why I love this brand so much. And this model, I should say. That's why I love this model so much. And unfortunately, as I've said before in one of my other videos, the problem with a Rolex Submariner, it's a great tool watch. It's all the tools who wear it. Whereas the Explorer 2 doesn't seem to have the same fuckwits who've picked up on that series. So Explorer 2, I think, is an ideal choice. I think an Explorer 2 is a much nicer watch than a Datejust. It's got that 2 time zone. It's got the beautiful oyster bracelet. It's just a classic, iconic piece. And I think even if you only have one watch in your collection, if you're just a one watch person, not a collector, I think you could pull it off with the Rolex Explorer 2. It's just such an iconic piece, and it's also it's a discreet piece. It doesn't scream, oh, you got a Rolex. It's just discreet. It's beautiful, well made. It's a fantastic watch, and in my opinion, it's one of the greatest watches to have. And the best thing about it is that it doesn't scream it's a Rolex. I'm ArchieLuxury. Tell me what you think. Thank you very much for watching my video. Goodbye.